What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show on this beautiful Thursday. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, Joey Wright, and a special guest co-host today. We've got Ducket Hat, a.k.a. Tim Wright. What's up, Tim?
Oh, having a great day breaking this bad boy out. Nobody that I know in my physical presence has seen it yet, so it's going to be a great weekend. I'm debuting it.
Man,
the debut of the Duck Hat. What a weekend. What a weekend to do it. Right in the middle of
hide
April.
your wives.
If you're in Atlanta and cherish your relationship, do not let them anywhere near Tim Wright this weekend. Guys, also joining us today, we have our great friend, my favorite Gamecock, and a staff writer over at DraftKings Nation, Teddy Ricketson, joining us. Teddy, thanks so much for joining the show today, my friend.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me back. And as I tweeted out, sometimes on your wedding anniversary, you got to remind your wife that you're also married to the game. So we'll see how much trouble this gets me in. So we'll see.
Okay, listen, it's work. It's important. I have to go determine the best ice cream flavor with three buffoons on air at 3 p.m. Eastern time. It's unavoidable.
Well, happy anniversary to you. And
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Wow.
4 years.
That's it.
Well, we got Craig in the chat ready for today's show. For the ice cream bracket specifically, he said, I have a lactose intolerant friend who sells ice cream for a living. He can't take it, but he can dish it out. He can take it, but then he's just dishing out some extra too.
Right.
We got Albert in here as well. What's up, Albert? Welcome in, my friend. Victor,
Albert, what's up?
With the good afternoon, bro, chachos. Happy Thirsty Thursday. Yeehaw.
Ooh.
Victor out here saying smash that like button. Thanks so much, Victor. And we got Jay in the chat saying, Teddy, aren't you supposed to be playing MLB The Show on your anniversary? Not on here?
Yeah, no, it was one or the other, and I got you guys. So we'll see if that's for better or worse.
Have you been playing the new MLB The Show?
We don't need to go into how much I've been playing the new MLB The Show. I will say, if anyone's a fan of like the Negro Leagues and like the history of baseball, it's worth the money just from the storylines mode they put in. I know we're fantasy football, but just side plug there. But
they
if
cover
you're
like
a baseball
MLB
fan
history
at all,
in the game.
Yeah, there's a story that they tell you all these stories that I've never heard of, and one of them was that Satchel Paige brought the entire field in, and they all kneeled around the mound during a game because the other team was talking smack, and then he struck out the side. And so like in the game, you see them, they're all just sitting around you. And you struck out the side.
I just got goosebumps when you said
I was like, that is a boss move.
Can you imagine watching that? The balls to bring the entire team around the mound.
Yeah.
You got to imagine the announcers for that too. Like, the cojones on this one. Playing mind games against the entire other team. And he strikes out the side.
Hey, it worked.
How have I never heard about that? That sounds like some of the greatest trash talking.
Yeah, I've never heard that either. But
that's
fantastic
awesome.
Game. Definitely check it out.
Well, guys, today we brought Teddy here not just to talk about MLB The Show. He's going to help us determine the winner of two very important brackets. The brackets we got coming your way today are the most likely bounce back wide receiver for next year. So we're going to be looking at some wide receivers that maybe had down years and talking about their likelihood and the magnitude of their potential bounce backs for next season. And then the all-important bracket afterwards. We did an ice cream flavored draft not too long ago, and there was a lot of contention. So once and for all, we have to settle what the best ice cream flavor is. We've got 8 choices up there, some recommendations from those involved, and we'll see what comes out on top. And before we get any complaints, because I know it's going to happen, there's like a million ice cream flavors, and we have 8 in here. So yeah, I'm sorry. Yours isn't in there. Oh, I know that one's so good. Yeah, it barely missed the cut. Oh, why didn't I think of that one? There's the response for every single flavor that's not on the bracket.
He's gonna get.
We got it out of the way early.
Oh, how did we forget?
Oh no! We got JL in the chat ready for our brackets as well. Friends, what's up, John Luke? JL's eating food right now. We have Michael in the chat as well with the yellow. Welcome in, Michael. Glad to have you here. And Mr. Scamper's in here. Good afternoon, FYF, and happy anniversary, Teddy, and happy birthday, Ducket Hat. Woohoo! Happy birthday, Tim.
Similar caliber milestones there, actually.
Tim, it's your birthday?
It's the Ducket Hat's birthday.
We got Albert in here with the JL, and Ladarius coming in here as well. Welcome in, Ladarius. Glad to have you here, guys. We got a full house here, and in the chat, you guys are going to be helping us determine the winner of these brackets as well. If we have any ties, I'm going to need you guys to help break them. So be ready for that. I'll be throwing polls in the YouTube chat for you to vote on. Before we get into our first bracket, I'm going to pull it up, give people a peek at the wide receivers that are going to be on this board for us today. And I got a couple reminders. First and foremost, if you are not already following our friend Teddy, go and follow him on Twitter right now. He's on Twitter at Teddy Ricketson. It's right there below his handsome face and that Brave sign on his screen. Follow him at Teddy Ricketson. After you do that, come on back over here. If you're watching, if you're on our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy, go ahead and hit that like button on this video if you like what we're doing. Hit that subscribe button if you want to make sure you don't miss any of our shows that we're putting out every day, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And Joey, I will unhide you from behind that logo. There we go. Now we got the whole squad in here. Guys, this is our bounce back wide receiver bracket that we are going to be voting on today. The 8 wide receivers we're talking about are going to be Deontay Johnson, Elijah Moore, Hunter Renfrow, Michael Pittman, DJ Moore, Brandon Cooks, Deebo Samuel, and Cortland Sutton. There were a bunch of other names that almost made the cut and got disqualified for one reason or another. Either they were too young for it really to be a bounce back, they just underperformed, or the drop-off wasn't that big, even though maybe expectations were higher. Guys like Terry McLaurin, where I think he's commonly in the bounce back category, but he's had the same stats for every year he's been in the league pretty much. It would just be a bounce up. So these are the 8 guys we're talking about. Teddy, you're going to have the first vote on our first matchup here. It is Deontay Johnson versus Elijah Moore. Which one of these bounce back wide receivers do you like better going into next season?
Well, I mean, seeing that it is my anniversary and my wife covers one of the teams that the player plays on, for her sake and happiness in her job, I'm going to go Deontay Johnson. But I do actually think that he is a solid choice here, just because I think we get another year of Kenny Pickett in the offense, and I know that Pittsburgh Nation, Steelers Nation, has been clamoring for the firing of Matt Canada and is yet to happen. But I think that they learned a lot last year, and I would be kind of shocked if they were just like, hey, let's just, unveil the same offense. So I think that one of the keys to getting the offense going is going to be getting Deontay in circulation in the passing offense. And I think we see him see a very large target share.
Deontay Johnson, 1 vote going his way. And not just because your wife covers the Steelers and you're trying to appease her on your anniversary. Tim, in this matchup, are you following Teddy with Deontay Johnson, or do you like Elijah Moore's chances on his new team there in Cleveland?
Gosh, I don't like either of these. Give me Elijah. I think Deshaun is going to actually pull together this offense a little bit better this season, have a full season of practice starting at the start of the season. I don't like it, but I think he might have a better statistical bounce back than Deontay. So
I like it. Tim not buying into either of these bounce backs here, but giving the nod to Elijah. Joey, what do you think here? Deontay Johnson or Elijah Moore? You following your brother or are you following Teddy?
What's weird about Deontay Johnson is that he went from 8 touchdowns to 0 touchdowns. Like, that's the strangest thing for me. And for a touchdown drop off that much, that just seems completely out of the ordinary. So I definitely see Deontay Johnson bouncing back from where he was last year. I do like Elijah Moore heading into next year with Deshaun Watson, but I'll give the nod to Deontay in this round.
1 more vote for Deontay Johnson. And this one is way closer to me than I thought it was going to be, almost for opposite reasons of Tim, though. I like both of these guys going into next year. Deontay Johnson's targets were still there. The only concern is, does he become the wide receiver 2 on that team behind George Pickens, which what I saw from George Pickens, I find that very reasonable that Deontay Johnson becomes the secondary target on that team. But we're comparing him to best case scenario secondary target on the Cleveland Browns. I feel a little bit safer in Deontay Johnson's targets next year, even though I am buying into Elijah Moore being that number 2 target for Deshaun Watson. So I'm going to give the nod to Deontay Johnson, but depending on where Moore's going, I am going to be drafting a lot of Elijah Moore next year. It was promising what we saw from Amari Cooper this year after everyone slept on him, and that was just 5 games with Deshaun Watson at the end of the season. So Deontay Johnson is moving on to the next round. The chat votes are in, and they agreed overwhelmingly, 71% on the Deontay Johnson side. We got some complaints in the chat. Craig said Jamison Crowder snubbed again. Teddy, is Jamison Crowder bouncing back next year?
I mean, It's going to be a bounce, but I just don't think it's going to be that high. I don't think it's going to be hard for him to bounce back, but he's not going to be like, whoa, it's Jamison Crowder time. So I'm not buying in. Sorry, Craig.
It's like dropping a pool ball. Like, it will bounce.
Yeah, it's gonna by definition, it'll bounce,
Joey, do you have any more hope for Jamison?
Jamison Crowder?
No, the other one.
I have a lot of hope for Craig and everything that he's doing with his life and his career and our friendship. But as far as Jamison Crowder goes, I don't have much hope.
Yeah. Michael down here said, Debo, done. He just finished the bracket for us. And Scamper said Marvin Jones Jr. snubbed from the bracket as well. And everyone agreeing with you that you can blame Canada, Teddy. Mr. Scampers and Craig jumping on the Canada train. All right, well, we're going to move on to our next match here. And Tim, you've got the first vote. This is Hunter Renfrow, who was a top 12 wide receiver 2 years ago, and Michael Pittman, who was dealing with some quarterback issues there in Indianapolis. Which one of these two wide receivers do you expect to bounce back more going into next season?
I don't want to vote against Renfrow because he's my boy, but I think it's going to be Pittman. I think Renfrow, much like Icarus, flew a little bit too close to the sun, and his wings the wax has now melted. I don't think he's going to return to that glory that he had a couple of years ago. So give me Pittman, give me hopefully a young, fun quarterback, and see how it goes.
Man, but boy, was that a fun season. That was glorious. Every Clemson fan got to just have a lot of fun with their wide receiver team that year. Every person who just drafted them anyways, even though you shouldn't have.
Exactly.
Joey, it is your vote now. Are you voting for Hunter Renfrow or Michael Pittman here?
Yeah, I mean, Pittman's yardage was down. His touchdowns were down a little bit. So I don't think his bounce back will be as big as if Hunter Renfrow bounces back. But I think Hunter Renfrow's bounce back, or his lagging off last year, he only played about half the season. But even considering that, his numbers were way down average-wise. Devontae Adams coming in, that'll do that to you. So I don't know if I see Renfrow bouncing back, although Darren Waller is not there. I just now thought of that. Yeah. I'm actually going to throw it to Renfrow. Now that Waller's gone, that slot presence, Renfrow coming back. Let's go.
Joe, you brought up what I was going to bring up, and that is Waller being gone. And then
I just clicked.
While I'm excited for a rookie quarterback there in Indianapolis, if it's Anthony Richardson year one, I'm not too excited for the wide receivers in that very first year. Rookie quarterbacks historically aren't great for wide receivers. And then you add someone in there who's considered a prospect that isn't necessarily pro ready, right? Has all the tools to get there. That's tricky for Michael Pittman. The absence of Waller in that offense opens up the kind of targets that Hunter Renfrow gets, right? Like, he found a lot of his success without Waller on the field that season. So I'm actually going to vote Hunter Renfrow here. And it's not an anti-Michael Pittman case. It's just, it may be tough sledding with a rookie quarterback in that Indianapolis offense next year. And boy, do they have a great safety blanket in Jonathan Taylor, where they don't have to expose their quarterback to as much risk. So that's 2 votes for Hunter Renfrow, 1 vote for Michael Pittman. And I got to put this one in the chat. I almost forgot. Teddy, where's your vote going?
We actually probably won't need the chat. I'm extending the South Carolina olive branch to the tiger of Hunter Renfrow. I actually was leaning him initially because I did, remember about the Walrus being in New York now. They did replace him with Austin Hooper. And I am not ready to get hurt again by Austin Hooper. I think I'm officially done. So I think that it shouldn't take too much for Renfrow to bounce back because, like we kind of talked about with his injury and everything, he didn't really get to play that many snaps and only played in 10 games, but he still had 50 targets. And so, despite the offensive output of just like, oh, let's just throw it to Devontae every time, they're going to have to spread it around.
Yeah. Hunter Renfrow moving on. And I thought I was going to be the only one voting for Renfrow in that poll.
No Jacoby Myers fear out of anybody?
I mean, it's not unreasonable to have Jacoby Myers fear, but whenever I look at Jacoby Myers play, Coop, big Patriots fan, has talked about this multiple times. He loves Jacoby Myers, but Jacoby Myers is just a guy. He's not some like super fast, super athletic player, similar to Renfrow, right? It's going to come down to who fits that offense better, who knows it better, who's better on the field. And I'll put some money on Renfrow there.
Now, I don't think any of us are taking Renfrow over Pittman. It's just the bounce back more likely to happen, right? Okay.
Great point. Yeah.
Want to put that clear. Like, we're not saying draft Renfrow over Pittman.
100%. That's a
Yeah.
great point, Joey. We got Dustin in here. What's up, Dustin? Welcome in.
What's up,
He
Dustin?
said, Hitman. And then Michael said target leaders for 2023 on the Raiders: Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, then Josh Jacobs, then Renfro. It's a possibility. That's not outside of the range of the outcome. And Albert said, what if Minshew starts? Does that change it for anybody? Tim, our resident Minshew lookalike. Does this change it for you?
Yeah, then I would completely flip the order that was just shown on the screen.
Also, holy shit, I just realized how long your hair's gotten, Tim.
Cool.
That's glorious. Incredible. You can full on cover your nipples now.
Just about.
Just about.
I have a request for pub
Finally.
tonight.
Tim, can you braid your hair into your chest hair if you grow your chest hair out? Like, could you do a single braid that like went all the way down?
Yeah.
Short answer is yes. That sounds really hot. Guys,
That was a very confident yes.
when we hit 3,000 subscribers, Tim will braid his hair into his chest hair. And then
That's
that
gonna be
chest
fun.
hair will be braided into my armpit hair. And we'll take one image like that. Well, on that note, we're moving into our next matchup here. The winner of the last poll was Michael Pittman from the chat, but by a score of 60% to 40%. Joe, you've got the first vote on this next one, and it is DJ Moore versus Brandon Cooks. Who is the more likely bounce back wide receiver next year?
Man, I'll tell you, I like both of the situations they're now in. I think if I had to pick one to have the better season next year, it'll be DJ Moore. I think he's going to be the wide receiver one in that Bears offense. But don't be surprised if like Brandon Cooks finds wide receiver 2 value. Like, don't be surprised if it happens. Like, just the swan song at the end of his career. I'll lean DJ Moore here, though.
One vote for DJ Moore from Joey. And I'm excited to see this Bears offense next season with DJ Moore in it.
Mm-hmm.
But there is the very real risk that they don't significantly change the way they run this offense, right? Their moves are saying they're going to. They went out and they grabbed wide receivers. We assume they're going to try to beef up the offensive line, get Justin Fields a little bit more protection. But this was one of the most run-heavy, if not the most run-heavy teams in the NFL last season. And although the offense is better that Moore's going into, the quarterback's better, it may just be less opportunity for him. Compare that to a high-flying Dallas offense and the starting point for Brandon Cooks, the low point of his career with the Texans last year. I'm going to go with Brandon Cooks here. And this is not an anti-DJ Moore take. Where he's starting from is pretty low, and the situation he's going into is pretty positive. DJ Moore's situation, not as wide receiver friendly unless something big changes, which is what we're hoping for based on what the Bears are doing. But I'll take a little bit more safety, I think, with Dak and the Cowboys and Brandon Cooks. Teddy, it's 1-1 here. Where's your vote going?
Yeah, so I'm admittedly a big homer when it comes to my picks, but I'm not actually going to go with Moore because my thing with him is like, what is he bouncing back to? In the sense that he had like 230 fewer yards than we typically see from him, but he had 3 more touchdowns. So it's like if we're thinking about who has the chance to bounce back the biggest, I'm going to go with Cooks. Because I think he has a chance to carve out that wide receiver 2 role in Dallas. And I think that he's going to get more targets than people think because Michael Gallup showed that he's not going to be the number 2 behind CeeDee Lamb.
Another vote for Brandon Cooks over here, making it 2-1. And Tim, it is going to be your vote. But before we get to that, I have some very big news. We have hit our target goal of 3,000 subscribers already. Thank you to everybody. So Tim's going to braid his hair into his chest.
Gotta learn how to braid, I guess.
And I got to learn how to pay attention to our YouTube analytics a little bit better. Joey. Oh, no. Who's got the vote here? Is it Joey's vote? No, it's Tim's
How you
vote.
voted?
Mine. Yeah, and just for the purposes of the name of this bracket, Scampers said it well. Cooks was already pretty darn low. He's got a better chance to bounce up a little bit higher. So I love Moore. I wish he could have won something in this bracket, but not the right bracket. Not necessarily the right bracket to win. So
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, it requires a net. It's like most improved swimmer on swim team. Yeah, I don't need that award every year. It's not possible. I was the most improved 4 years in a row. Okay, I know what this is. This is the you suck at swimming ribbon. So You want to win this bracket once
I feel like,
and then never again.
I feel like you've been holding that in for a couple years. I don't feel like that just came out.
It's condescending to give me the most improved swimmer 4 years in a row. It's just rude, honestly, Coach Sarah. I don't even know where you are. You were
Specifically.
She was probably like 17, but I viewed her as like a 48-year-old woman because I was 7.
No, she's probably just like, this would be funny.
Exactly. We've got our next matchup to get to. DJ Moore overwhelmingly won the poll in the chat, 82% of the vote. Before we get into this next poll, though, Scott Fish had a question for us and said, having trouble getting confirmation on this. I've noticed Joey on a lot lately. Is he going to be on daily now? Joey, are you?
Who asked this question?
This was Scott Fish, if I'm not mistaken.
Don't know him.
Don't know him? Okay.
No.
Well, Scott,
I'm here every day, 5 days a week. So.
I know him. And Joey, I love your bowl shirt, but Joey will
Thank
be
you.
on 5
We got a lot
days
of
week
bowls
now.
coming up, guys. I know we're all playing in like the Warrior Bowl and, your personal bowls that you play in. You eat cereal out of a bowl. So hope everybody has fun in other bowls this year that they're playing in. It'll be a really good time for everyone, I think.
Yeah, those personal bowls.
The personal
All
bowls.
those bowls. Yep.
Yep.
Mr. Scaver said Cooks cannot be worse than last season. We hope so. We hope so. Well, here's our next poll. I've got the first vote on this one. It's Deebo Samuel versus Cortland Sutton. And I'm going to have to agree with what Michael said earlier. I'm going to keep mine short. It's Deebo Samuel. I think he's the superior athlete, and I've seen him do more already. It felt like some quarterback turmoil and changes there. Hopefully they get a little bit more stability this offseason, find their guy, stick with them. And I'm excited for what Deebo can do in that offense. Cortland Sutton, there's so many unknowns around that entire team. Are they good? Is Russ good? Is Sean Payton going to unlock Russell Wilson? Is Cortland Sutton the wide receiver one? So I'll give it to Deebo. Teddy, where's your vote going? Deebo or Cortland Sutton?
Yeah, I was going to ask if we're kind of basing this on if we're assuming that Jerry Jeudy is still going to be in Denver, but I don't necessarily know that it matters.
Yeah.
I'm still going to go Deebo for just the versatility that he brings, and hopefully Trey Lance back under center. Well, actually, Brock Purdy, either one. I don't care.
Just one. Just pick one and roll.
Yeah, just one of them. Yeah.
Tim, it is now 2-0 for Deebo Samuel. Where's your vote going?
I mean, I'm pretty firmly in the boat that the Broncos are going to improve by a pretty solid margin this coming season. So I'll give a nod to Cortland Sutton. I think Deebo obviously was hampered by injuries again, so a little bit of concern there. Might just land in the same spot. But if we're looking for him to go back to his superstar season a couple seasons ago, I don't know that I necessarily see that happening again. So he's going to bounce back, sure, but not where I think people want that to be. So I think Sutton has more green space ahead of him because he's been so average. Deebo is going to be like way up here. He's going to drop down to here, which is still probably higher than Cortland. So,
Tim, you bring up a great point about that season. I think like people remember he had 800 plus rushing yards. But what they forget is he also had 1,400 receiving yards that season on top of the 800 plus. Like that's absurd. To expect that again is nuts. Like 1,400 receiving yards maybe, but we're not getting 800 rushing yards out of him if he does that, and vice versa. One vote for Cortland. Joey, what are you doing here? Are you agreeing with Tim, or are you giving it to Deebo Samuel?
Yeah, I'm going to give 2 votes to another vote to Cortland Sutton. I don't think Deebo can bounce back to close to what he had before, and I haven't heard anyone mention the reason. I think it is all that rushing. Yeah, you talked about, but Christian McCaffrey came in. They've got someone that can catch the ball out of the backfield now. They've got someone that can rush. And they have Elijah Mitchell, who's really great too. I think they just want to use Deebo as a receiver. I'm not even sure he's the best receiver on this team anymore. I might even rather have Brandon Ayuk. I'm going to give it to Cortland Sutton just by default. I do think the Broncos are going to be better with Sean Payton as the head coach and whatnot. But yeah, I'm kind of out on Deebo.
2-2. This one's going to come down to the chat. The Wright brothers back in behind Cortland Sutton together on this one. We got Calvin in the chat wanting to know how is seeding determined? As a Bronco fan, I'm not fond of Sutton versus Deebo. To be completely honest, Calvin, seeding was just in there. Those are just 8 names.
Yep.
Sometimes we put a lot of thought and effort into seeding, and sometimes we just put them in a list. And
player selection. Player selection was done today with me on the toilet and Jay Felicio on the other side of the phone. We chose the players, and then Simon seeded them as how he saw fit.
And it was just as I saw them. I tried to remember as many as I could, get over to the bracket, type them in. Ice cream was seeded a little more purposefully, though. So you'll see that.
I don't
Also,
like seeds in my ice cream.
Scott Fish in the chat said, I only ask because I'll stop by more. Joey is the best. Such a genuinely good person, and I really enjoy having him as a friend.
Damn, sarcasm's heavy with that.
And the tape comes off.
Oh
my God, it was the Scott Fishbowl shirt the
I know.
entire time.
Guys, if you haven't signed up for Scott Fishbowl, go ahead and sign up. Almost all the invites have already gone out, though, so you might have trouble getting in. But if you haven't signed up, go ahead and sign up. It's good for a good cause. Fantasy Cares. Go follow him on Twitter.
Do it. One Nation Underground in the chat said, isn't Sam Darnold a 49er now? Yeah, and I don't think that matters at all. At least for the love of God, I hope that doesn't end up mattering for Deebo Samuel.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Also,
I was doing my quarterback rankings today, and I, by default, have to have 3 San Francisco quarterbacks in there because I'm not sure who's going to start the season there at this point.
And then you should pick like the most captivating free agent as well and just slot them in as the 4th San Francisco quarterback that'll score. Yeah. Did you say Lamar?
Yeah.
Michael in here said, I've seen Sutton go behind Wan'Dale Robinson in almost all drafts lately. Does this make sense? I feel gross considering that. Teddy, what do you think about Wan'Dale Robinson versus Cortland Sutton for next year? Which one would you be drafting first?
So I was trying to even look up, are we sure he's going to be like recovered by then? I guess probably he is.
Sutton?
No, Robinson from his season-ending injury. I think it was his knee.
Yeah.
And so, one of the biggest things for him was his speed. And if he comes back, a little hindered, even if he is on the field because of that, of that knee. But with the with kind of the moves that the Giants have made and everything, I actually think that Sutton is the choice there. I guess it kind of depends on the draft also, if you're thinking like redraft dynasty size and all that stuff. But for me, I'm still kind of leaning Sutton and hoping and praying.
I'm with you.
I am seeing that Robinson is going to be back because the injury occurred in late November. So with the ACL injury, he should be back in time for training camp. So
my strategy with Giants wide receivers next year is just whichever one is in the 18th round, I'm going to still not draft because I have no clue what's happening there.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Take the cheapest one and then remove them from your queue and draft none of them at all. Deebo Samuel did end up winning the poll in the chat by a pretty big margin, over 80% of the vote for Deebo. So Deebo's moving on, but moves us on to our first semifinal matchup now. And Teddy, we're back to you with the first vote. We've got Deontay Johnson versus Hunter Renfrow. Who is your preferred bounce back wide receiver out of these two?
I am sticking with the seemingly random lead number 1 overall seed, Deontay Johnson over Hunter Renfrow, just because, I think that with what we talked about with Myers, I don't think that there's necessarily a third wide receiver in the Pittsburgh offense that Deontay would have to be worried about falling behind. And I think that, he's still going to get an increase in target share despite having still a solid number last year. So I still think it's Deontay.
1 vote for Deontay Johnson. Tim, where are you going in this one? I believe you voted against both of these guys in the first round, so we're making you pick from your least favorite bounce backs.
Yeah, cool. Dope.
Channel the Duck Hat. Positivity from the Duck Hat. Positivity.
Yeah, so I'm voting for Renfrow just because I'm envisioning the connection that he and Jimmy G are going to have. It's going to be like handsome man and dorky little guy. That's going to be the magnetic connection that we need in the NFL. So I'm going with that. Immediate bounce back status.
Handsome man and dorky guy, the buddy cop movie we never knew we needed. They should do a whole, oh my God. If the Raiders were smart, they would have a mini series buddy cop show with Jimmy G and Hunter Renfrow.
Love buddy cop.
Right? Just like little shorts, like 3-minute shorts with them doing silly things. Joey, where's your vote going?
I want Teddy to have a good anniversary. I'm going to go Deontay Johnson. That's the only other reason.
Thanks, man.
Listen, I mean, that drop off in touchdowns with everything else being somewhat on mark. I don't think Pickens can be the wide receiver 1 in this offense. I like Pickens, just not as a lead receiver. So, yeah, I'll go Deontay Johnson having a better bounce back than Hunter Renfrow.
And I want to ruin Teddy's anniversary. I'm going to vote for Hunter Renfrow here for the reasons previously discussed. He's got more room to bounce up. I like both of these guys' chances next year to be fantasy relevant Hunter Renfrow has a little bit more room to grow. In the absence of Waller, there's a positive move in that offense towards Hunter Renfrow, besides just, does Kenny Pickett improve, right? Does George Pickens not take targets? So I'll take the guy who fell a little bit further and has the positive moves on his team, leading to hopefully more fantasy relevancy. But that's going to make it 2-2 on this poll. Where do you guys think the chat's going to go? I have not looked at all yet on their votes.
I think the chat's going to go Johnson.
You think so? Teddy, what do you think?
Yeah.
I guess, but I just don't know if it's seed bias or not.
I hate seed bias. Did you guys know in the
bias.
Arctic there's a bank of seeds of all the plants in the world, and it's underground so that if everything goes to shit, we've got a seed for all the plant life that ever existed on Earth.
Great.
In a
I don't know
bunker.
I'm not a gardener. What do I look like? A plant doctor? You think any of that's going to work for me? I'm going to.
How do I look like a plant doctor?
All those seeds are going to go to waste if I'm the doctor, right?
They're going to come up and
Honestly, your hair's long enough. You kind of look like a plant
That's
doctor.
pretty true. Dang.
Tim's just going to be chewing on them like sunflower seeds, spitting the shells out.
Wow, these are pretty good.
Oh, I found a bunker with so much food in it.
Just looking on stream at all of us, if there was someone I was expecting to be able to grow stuff, it'd probably be Tim. Judging
Hair
just
at
off
least.
of looks.
Well, guys, Deontay Johnson did end up winning that poll with 86% of the vote, meaning that Deontay Johnson's going to move on. And we've got our second semifinal matchup here: Brandon Cooks versus Deebo Samuel. Tim, you've got the first vote here. Which way's your vote going? Wait, are these also both people you voted against?
I think so.
Did every
No.
one?
I voted
for Deebo, I
I
think.
got Brandon Cooks. I got Brandon
That's
Cooks.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
There you
go. And I'm going to go Brandon Cooks again. The net gain, the activation energy for him to go up from where he was is not much. For Deebo to get back to even close is a lot. So for this bracket, makes sense.
He just has to not absolutely hate with every fiber of his being the team where he is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
just don't
improvement.
be on the Texans. And he's
Just
already
don't
done
be
that.
on the Texans. One vote for Brandon Cooks. Joey, you going Deebo or Brandon?
Yeah, I think I made my case pretty strong. I'm going to go Brandon Cooks on this side. I do like what he can do in Dallas, and I just don't see Deebo bouncing back. I really don't, and not even back, but just to somewhere of like. I think he was a wide receiver 1 coming into last season, and I don't know if he can get to wide receiver 2 this year.
Ooh. Two votes for
I'm
Brandon
out.
Cooks.
I'm out, I guess.
And I'm a little bit surprised that we're here, but I'm voting for Brandon Cooks as well, knocking Deebo Samuel out. There are very few categories or very few brackets where we can put these two in a matchup against each other where Brandon Cooks comes out on top.
Yeah.
But in bounce back players, based on what we saw from Brandon Cooks last season and what we know he can do, I feel like he's just primed for the bounce back player next season. So I'm voting for Brandon Cooks. Teddy, which way is your vote going? Is this a clean sweep or are you giving a vote to Deebo?
It would be it's going to be a clean sweep. I feel like I'm going to get clipped by an angry South Carolina fan in a couple months. That's starting to happen. But no, it's just I really like what Joey said about with Christian McCaffrey being in the backfield, and when you kind of think about the season that Deebo had, where he kind of went nut bar on everybody, like Brandon Ayuk just sucked and wasn't there, and I'm pretty sure Kittle was hurt. So can he be one of the best in fantasy football? Absolutely. And I still think he's going to be a good player, but I don't necessarily know that his bounce back is going to be as high as Cooks hopefully is.
And I see Dustin in here saying Deebo is going to kill Cooks this year. That's not the point of this bracket. The point of this bracket has nothing to do with who scores more fantasy points next season. Or
my mind also went to murder. Yeah. I say that's where my mind.
Well, if that's what happens, then Deebo would win this bracket.
On this season of snaps,
On this
Deebo
this
Samuel watched FYF and saw that he was knocked out of the bracket and killed Brandon Cooks.
Mr. Scamper's in the chat with Tim is the last sod father, the keeper of the grass.
Dustin's muting us, guys. I feel betrayed.
I had you all muted till now because of a meeting. You all might go back on mute.
Well,
Dustin, I want to sincerely apologize for not catering the topic of this bracket specifically to your specifications. In the future, I will make sure to run the premise by you ahead of time to assure we're not on mute. I'm genuinely apologetic, my friend.
I want to shout out Calvin Brown in the chat. He was really excited this morning for the shows. All right, Calvin.
What up, Calvin? And Calvin also said, Oh, so they're random. Got it. All good. Thanks for you guys' time as always. Yep, 100% random in there.
Let's go.
Well, guys, we are on to our final matchup here. Joey, you've got the first vote in the
Ooh, I
finals. It
do.
is Deontay Johnson versus Brandon Cooks. Who's it going to be for the bounce back player of the year?
Happy anniversary to you. Yeah, it's gonna be Deontay for me. I can't see what happened with him last year happening 2 years in a row. He's a target machine. Him and Pickett get on the same page on the second year. Let's go, Deontay Johnson.
One vote for Deontay Johnson. That puts it to me. And I said it in the last round, the amount of room to go up is going to make me give this to Brandon Cooks. It's not an anti-Deontay Johnson take. It might be an anti-Kenny Pickett take, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But this is going to go to Brandon Cooks down there as the wide receiver 2 in Dallas. So that makes this 1-1. Teddy, where's your vote going?
So I don't necessarily know that it's necessarily an anti-Kenny Pickett take. It might be. I still think it's an anti-Matt Canada take, which is kind of the worry that I have. And I honestly think that if Deontay doesn't bounce back as much as he should, there might be some coaches losing jobs. So I'm still sticking Deontay, but I think this one's a lot closer than I think this is a good kind of championship because it's really close.
Honestly, it's not the championship I would have predicted at the beginning, but it makes a lot of sense. Tim, it's 2-1. Are you giving this to Deontay? Are you sending this to the chat?
Let's let the chat decide, baby.
Oh, one that's going to Brandon Cooks. You said it so fast, I didn't even realize it. 2-2.
Yeah.
In chat, Craig said Deontay is not who I would pick. One Nation, not a fan of the Steelers. And Dave said, do not besmirch Kenny Pickett.
What does
Dave,
One Nation say? Oh, okay.
I never want to offend you. I apologize for besmirching Kenny Pickett. Also, Dustin said Tim needs to represent the chat in the ice cream bracket. He's already worried about.
I'm gonna tilt super hard on my first one anyway. So.
And Michael coming in. We got a couple Kenny believes in here. Said Kenny golden ticket. Well, let's see what the chat had to say on this one. Okay. I'm ending the poll with 70% of the vote. The winner of this bracket, ruining Teddy's anniversary, is Brandon.
Yes, chat.
Most likely bounce back wide receiver
Oh.
going into next season. Congratulations, Brandon Cooks. Your trophy's in the mail. Do not let us find you in this bracket again next year. Then it's offensive. Then we're condescending.
Yep. We gotta keep track of that.
Our producer Tyler excited, saying Cook's finally getting the respect he deserves. Love to see it. Yeah, he's constantly going later than he should in drafts. He seems like a perennial value, except for this past season. Nice work, my friends. Before we move on to our next bracket, I've got a would you rather for you guys today from our calendar that I wanted to read. Teddy, would you rather have all traffic lights you approach be green or have the pleasure of never standing in line again? So every traffic light you approach is green, or you never stand, not just never, you have the pleasure of never standing in line again.
Every traffic light is green for me, I'm guessing.
Oh, that sounds
okay. Because if they're all green, then it's just like chaos. You know, and it's just
it's just the ones you approach. So as you approach one, it turns green.
I work from home, so I don't drive a lot. I'm not standing in lines.
I'm with you. That's it for me. I don't drive very much either, but boy, do I get frustrated when I am driving. I get stuck at every light. Tim, what are you doing?
Yes.
I feels like that one's just a danger to society as it is. Like, what if I make a right turn quickly to a street that has a light on it, and then all of a sudden their car's going, 40 miles an hour through the intersection. They get red light, I get green light. I probably get killed. So yeah, not standing in line is probably pretty sweet. I'll go to Disney World all the time.
Tim, Yep. I am about to become a multi-millionaire from this bracket because I live in the theme park capital of the world. I will sell my services out to go to theme parks with people so no one ever has to wait in lines because I am there. I'm making money off of today's Would You Rather.
Now, you could be the worst service ever, as this only says you have the pleasure of never standing in line again, and the people that didn't, you charge them.
They constantly get pulled out by security.
Line, that means I don't know. I see what you're saying, Simon.
I like it, Joey.
But it's going to take me forever to get there because I'm going to hit all red lights. So
you have to leave 3 days in advance. It's a 4-day trip, but it's just 1 day in the park.
Yeah,
guys, we're going to move on to our next bracket here. We've got the best ice cream flavors bracket. We got 8 choices up there. we're going to be deciding between. And here are your 8 choices. We've got chocolate chip cookie dough, Neapolitan, Moose Tracks, soft serve Snickers, mint chocolate chip, cookies and cream, cake batter, and coffee.
Jay is such an asshole.
These are the 8 flavors in this bracket. And One Nation in here said, if Grader's black raspberry chip isn't on the ice cream bracket, I'll riot. Oh my God, how did I forget that one?
Call the National Guard.
There's a lot of
The National Guard.
Well, Teddy, you've got the first vote in this bracket. It's chocolate chip cookie dough versus Neapolitan. What's it going to be?
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody else is this way, but it's probably due to my anxiety. But anytime I go somewhere new, I always try like the same thing if it pops up on their menu. So like sandwich shops, I'm getting a Reuben and I'm judging you solely on how that Reuben is. So for me, when it comes to ice cream places, it is chocolate chip cookie dough every time. And if you have bad chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, I'm probably not coming back.
1 vote for chocolate chip cookie dough. And we got Brooke in the chat. Happy anniversary, Brooke, saying Neapolitan is 3 flavors. That's unfair. Well, Teddy said, get that advantage out of here. I'm voting for cookie dough anyways. Tim, is your vote going to cookie dough or to Neapolitan?
I think cookie dough is fine. I don't particularly care for it. Neapolitan, I don't need to eat the strawberry since you have the 2 other ones there. So I'm going to go Neapolitan. This is a fine 1-8 seed. I don't really care about this one.
Tim's like at least like 2/3 of that one.
Yeah.
Joey, are you voting for Neapolitan or chocolate chip cookie dough?
Well, I wasn't able to give Teddy a happy anniversary on the last one, but I see his beautiful wife is in the chat saying that chocolate chip cookie dough is my favorite flavor. And Jay and I, because we all got to submit an ice cream, and technically I got 2 on this today because the 2 I said are both on here. So it's chocolate chip cookie dough for me. That's definitely a choice I make when I go to an ice cream place, if they don't have the other one that's coming up later that I love.
Yeah, 2 votes.
Little tease.
2 votes for chocolate chip cookie dough in that one. Also, Calvin in here coming in said, as one who's allergic to chocolate, I'm offended there's no strawberry or Christmas tree cake flavor. I'm so sorry. That's a difficult allergy, Calvin.
Try Neapolitan. You get one of the 3. Or
yeah, just avoid the right side or the left side or the middle.
Yeah, just scoop very strategically.
The Homer Simpson method. Just eat the chocolate and leave the vanilla and strawberry in the freezer. Also, Dustin said, in what diabetes-filled shop are you getting cake batter ice cream? You ever been to Cold Stone, Dustin? That's a feature, not a bug in that ice cream flavor. I've got the next vote here, and I almost want to vote for Neapolitan just for the strawberry representation. I think strawberry is such an underrated flavor in the ice cream world, but it's going to go to chocolate chip cookie dough. It's iconic. It's classic. When you think of ice cream, you almost immediately, like outside of the big 3, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, that's the next flavor you think of. That's not to say it's untouchable by other flavors in this bracket, but against a scrub like Neapolitan, I'm going to push it through. Which means, Tim, you've got the first vote on our next matchup.
Yeah, this is my
Moose
hell.
Tracks versus soft serve Snickers.
This is my hell. Because I have so many memories of both of these. Moose Tracks, my grandparents' favorite ice cream. It's got everything you need in ice cream. It's got the fudge, it's got the vanilla, it's got the little Reese's peanut butter cups inside of it. It's always an adventure trying to find those little Moose Tracks. Used to have competitions against my brother to see who could get more in any random scoop of ice cream. It's just absolutely phenomenal. The fun fact is you can just lie and say that you got more. I don't think Deck ever knew that, which is why I won so much. Soft serve Snickers might be the best tasting thing I've ever tasted in my life. It is just the pinnacle of what can come out of a little squirty thingy at the Jersey Shore. I would get 2 of those large, and that thing, like large soft serve goes up to here, and that's a thick spiral. I would go up and get 2 of those every single time and just house them. I wouldn't talk for like 15 minutes because I'm just eating these things just like just like that. Which is why, Jay, this is why I'm so frustrated, because these are my top 2 on this list, and I have to pick, and I'm stalling. Give me soft serve. God,
1 vote for soft serve from Tim in a very tough matchup for him deciding.
That sucks.
Joey, which way are you voting here? Tim laid out a convincing case for both of these flavors.
Yeah, so the last 60 seconds of Tim's argument there needs to be clipped out of context because it is filthy. just filthy. I don't think I've ever had soft serve Snickers. I can't say that I have, but I want to. I think I would enjoy that, but I've had Moose Tracks. So just because of experience in my life, I would be a liar if I said soft serve Snickers. I've never had it. I'm going to go Moose Tracks.
One vote for Moose Tracks from Joey. It's tied 1-1. I like Moose Tracks. My problem with it is it makes you thirsty. Like ice cream that makes you thirsty. It's got fudge and peanut butter in it, both things that kind of like dry you out. When I finish a bowl of ice cream, I don't want to feel like parched. And that's how Moose Tracks makes me feel a little bit. Soft serve Snickers, Tim, is this what I had at Lighthouse whenever I was up there in New Jersey? Because that was top 5 most delicious things I've ever put in my mouth.
That's what I'm saying. Definitely
top 3 most delicious squirty things I had in my mouth from the Jersey Shore.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt. So I'm going to vote for soft serve Snickers here. And if you've never had it, just who doesn't love the frozen Snickers bars? Now imagine that, but it's like that flavor, but in a delicious custardy, slurpy, licky, delicious soft serve cone. That's where my vote's going. Teddy, did my sound effects convince you, or are you going with Moose Tracks here and sending it to the chat?
Yes, I mean, speaking of the chat, my wife pointed out that both of these ice creams would kill her, and so I'm supposed to abstain. But what's the anniversary if you don't plot your wife's death? So I'm gonna go Moose Tracks, mainly and solely because I've never had soft serve Snickers.
It broke with the bracket of death. Shout out to her nut allergies, but it is tied 2-2, which means this one's going to go to the chat. Scamper is saying Moose Tracks in this one. He said, pretend the camel are Meese. And then Jay said, I'm behind Simon, but Simon made the brackets. He's lying.
I don't want to change my vote, but I just realized something.
Yes.
Soft serve Snickers, start, sit, salutations. Like, I don't know why I might want to change my vote, but I don't want to take it away from the chat. Chat, you determine this.
Chat, it is 50-50 right now. 50-50, exactly even. We need one more vote. If we don't get it in the next 10 seconds, tie does go to the guest, which would push it to Moose Tracks. Oh, we do have another vote in there. I'm going to give it 10 more seconds before we call this. Should we stay silent the whole time? That's the end of that poll. Coming out on top, 54% to 46%. Soft serve Snickers with the victory.
Wow.
Moving on to the next round. Soft serve Snickers will face off against chocolate chip cookie dough in the semifinals.
I would have written either of those to the finals anyway. Doesn't matter.
Calvin, I see you said no sherbet. I brought up sherbet and was told that's not an ice cream, so it doesn't qualify.
Calvin, I am lactose intolerant, so ice cream is it's a commitment for me. It ruins the rest of the night and usually the next morning. Often the whole next day due to the lack of sleep, and often sets the entire week off with one horrible night of living in the bathroom. That being said, I still eat it sometimes. But I am more of a sherbet and banana pudding kind of guy as well.
Is it sherbet or sherbet? These are questions that keep me up at night. What's sorbet?
Sorbet is the other
Italian
one.
ice.
No. Custard.
Right.
Joe, you've got the first vote on this one. It is mint chocolate chip versus cookies and cream. What is going to be your vote here?
Man, these two are so close. One of my favorite things when I was in high school, before theater every day, before play practice, I would go to Denny's and get a grasshopper blender blaster, which was basically mint chocolate chip ice cream, just liquidated. Oh man, I'm actually, for nostalgic sake, I'm gonna go mint chocolate chip. It's so yummy.
One vote from
fresh breath if you get to do a little kissing.
One vote from
Teddy,
mint chocolate chip over there.
Yes, all circles, all full circle.
Also, I like the scampers coming in and saying soft serve inherently is an ice cream after blaming all the other things. And JL coming in, it's actually Maria. Cookie dough greater than everybody because JL doesn't like cookie dough. I've got the next vote here. You're free to eat whatever you like. You are free to put whatever you want in your mouth and combine whatever flavors that do not freaking belong together in the same bowl to your heart's desire. That's fine. I'm not putting mint and chocolate in my ice cream. That's disgusting. Why don't I just pour toothpaste on my Hershey's chocolate bar before I eat it? Why don't I just fill my s'more with Altoids before I bite into it? It's disgusting, vile, and I'm more than happy to let other people have it. I don't even get cookies and cream that much. It just doesn't have spearmint in it. So I'm going with cookies and cream. Teddy, it's 1-1. Where's your vote going?
There's definitely a fantasy football spin with the things that you wouldn't combine. It's like, well, would you put mayonnaise and coffee? Will Levis would. But yeah, so for these, the mint chocolate chip one's interesting because it's going to be my vote. But you really made me think about it with the whole like being thirsty after you eat it. That happens with that.
Yeah.
But between the two, I don't know who has access to a cookout. But if you've never had a cookout mint chocolate chip milkshake, it is phenomenal.
Cookout's so good. They have a high C milkshake. You can get a high C
have everything.
milkshake at Cookout. It's unbelievable. And then if you want, you can do a high C and blueberry cheesecake milkshake. They'll just combine it for you.
So
it's called freedom,
you guys,
and it's beautiful.
You guys have brought something up a few times. Like, this ice cream makes me thirsty. Am I the only one that eats their ice cream with a glass of water?
What? Like, yes, you are.
I'm the only one. Okay.
I don't know that I would have admitted that on something that's being recorded.
Like, I always have like
takes a sip,
a little glass of water.
Dip your spoon in it to clean it off or something?
No, gosh. No. Side note. So talk about ice cream. If you've never seen the video of the ice cream factory, the guy with the golden spoon, that he tastes it. That's his job at the factory is to taste the ice cream. You go to YouTube and look at it. It's unbelievable. This man and his little golden spoon. Sorry, I derailed the show.
Well, Teddy, your vote went to mint chocolate chip, correct? Which means this is 2-1 now. Tim, are you sending this to the chat or are you giving it to mint chocolate chip? And I forgot to put a poll over there.
We're breaking out the axe. Don't care about you, chat. We're going mint choco, baby.
No!
Yeah, let's go.
This is my number 3 ice cream on the list.
Cookies and cream is very yummy, though.
I'm so upset. Tim, I don't know. For some reason, I thought you were firmly on the anti-mint side with me, yet you got in there. Craig absolutely agreeing with me, but I think I have split the chat here. Craig saying 100%. Thank you, Simon. But Dustin saying, whoa, Thin Mints are the best Girl Scout cookie. Chocolate and mint work. Michael said, gee, well, he said, geese, Simon. Did mint chocolate chips steal your wallet or something? Stole my girl. Man.
No, but a goose did.
Yeah.
Also, Craig said mint and chocolate were first put together by Jeffrey Dahmer. So there you go.
I mean,
true fact. Don't even bother Googling it. We don't even need to fact check that one. Also, Dustin said a nice room temperature glass of water is money with ice cream.
Thank you, Dustin.
That sounds disgusting. And JL said, I'm deleting this company. And said, this is the single worst take FYF has ever had. I'm not sure which one, but that's impressive. We've had people that did not like our take on grapes or on
I still remember
the Office.
That fruit. Oh, God.
The fruit bracket got violent. I think it was a tier list.
Yeah.
We are on to our next matchup here. Cake batter versus coffee. I got the first vote here. Coffee's all right. Cake batter is decadent. Cake batter is put you into a sugar coma the rest of the day. Cake batter is like so thick that it drags on your spoon as you pull it out of the cup. I'm voting for cake batter here. You go to Cold Stone, get some cake batter, throw whatever the hell you want in it, spend $45 on a small ice cream. It's incredible. Teddy, where's your vote going?
So good coffee ice cream is good. Bad coffee ice cream is horrible. Cake batter for the win due to its consistency.
Cake batter. Tim, are you agreeing here? Or are you going with coffee?
I don't drink coffee. I like the smell, but cake batter is fine. Let's not oversell this.
3 votes for cake batter, but same with the reality check here. Joey, are you giving it to cake batter or to coffee?
Coffee ice cream is my favorite ice cream.
No, Joey.
It's okay. I'm a huge coffee drinker. If you've ever watched me on a show, I'm drinking a form of coffee. Either it's a hot cup of coffee, it's an iced coffee, it's a Java Monster. Like, love coffee. So coffee flavored anything. That and bananas, love it. But yeah, sorry, I've
1 vote for coffee, and Joey's heart is broken.
Yeah,
If
okay.
JL was here, you would have had another person on your side. Coffee from JL and Maria. But he's not.
Thank you, guys.
So you don't. Jay voting for cake batter, and Scamper saying pickles and ice cream for the win. That's worse than water. That's an awful thing to say out loud. Teddy, we are up to our first semifinal matchup, and you've got the first vote in this one. It is the behemoth chocolate chip cookie dough versus maybe the first round surprise victory soft serve Snickers. Who's pulling out this one?
My go-to versus one I haven't ever had. So chocolate chip cookie dough.
1 vote for chocolate chip cookie dough. Tim, what about you? Your favorite versus one I don't think you even voted for in the first round.
Give me the Jersey Shore delight.
that sound effect plus that name really puts a different picture in your mind. Also, Michael down here said coffee ice cream's favorite flavor is mint chocolate chip. That's how bad it is. Well, Joey, it is 1-1 here. Are you voting for soft serve Snickers or for chocolate chip cookie dough?
No, I mean, I'll take chocolate chip cookie dough. That's my number 2. If they don't have coffee ice cream, I go with a chocolate chip cookie dough, unless they do have like a banana Foster's type, but that's like too niche. But yeah, chocolate chip cookie dough. Let's go.
This one's close for me. I voted for both of these in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Soft serve Snickers was an incredible experience, but a one-time experience. Teddy, you brought up something in the first round.
Visiting.
Picking the cookie dough out of the chocolate chip cookie dough bucket with my sister when my parents weren't looking growing up is like ingrained in my mind. Know what I mean? We'd get in trouble for just grabbing a chunk, but you just try to go in there and get the little bits of cookie dough. It brings back happy childhood memories, and it's a classic flavor. I'm voting for chocolate chip cookie dough to go on to the finals. Tim, you have the first vote on our next matchup. It is mint chocolate chip versus cake batter. Where are you going here?
I mean, I'm gonna go mint chocolate chip again. My third favorite ice cream. But I just want to say no to raw dough. The CDC says it's not safe to eat raw dough or batter. So you guys are picking the absolute stupidest as your favorite. Let me just say that real quick.
And I'm yes, and I'm sure that it's just purely salmonella cookie dough and all of the chocolate chip dough ice cream out there. It's
actually pizza dough. It's not just cookie dough. Pizza dough ice cream. Yeah.
Oh, it's pizza dough ice cream. One vote for mint chocolate chip. Joey, are you voting for cake batter or for mint chocolate chip?
I've never had cake batter ice cream. Mint chocolate chip all the way, baby.
And that makes it my vote. I accidentally put the wrong thing in the chat, so we'll get that fixed in a moment here. It's no secret where I'm voting here. I gave maybe the most heartfelt response for cake batter and the most hate-filled response for mint chocolate chip. It's going to be cake batter for me.
This is going to be my nightmare finale. This sucks.
Which means it is 2-1 mint chocolate chip versus cake batter. Teddy, are you sending this to the chat or are you sending mint chocolate chip onto the final round?
Yeah, we got to get to the chat. I'm going cake batter.
Okay, well, we got it in the chat now. Mint chocolate chip versus cake batter. Get your votes in. Teddy, are there any flavors you're disappointed weren't in this bracket?
Chocolate.
No.
Just plain old
Really?
chocolate.
I don't know. Like, again, I kind of just go back to Cookout just from how good their milkshakes are and their ice cream. So if you've ever had a peanut butter milkshake from Cookout, it's fantastic. So peanut butter ice cream would be a sleeper for me.
Tim,
yet another one that would kill my wife, but that's not why. It's just a good ice cream.
Tim said chocolate, and my favorite flavor is vanilla. Like a really good vanilla ice cream is my favorite flavor. But we wanted to keep some of those like OGs off the board. So vanilla and chocolate, we're just running through with it. What's up, Joey?
My real favorite ice cream is strawberry. Let's go crazy in Canton this year and just buy a bunch of Neapolitan and just go crazy with each other.
Tim loves chocolate. I love vanilla. Joey loves strawberry. It's perfect. Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Well, the poll, we are ending it, and by a score of 62% to 38%, cake batter is moving on to the finals.
This is stupid.
So we have chocolate chip cookie dough versus cake batter here. People upset about mint chocolate chip getting robbed. Tim, Joey, and Heavy T behind the scenes a little bit pissed about that one. But we have our championship, chocolate chip cookie dough versus the 7-seed cake batter in this matchup. Jay excited about that one. And Maria says she doesn't care about the salmonella. So she's not even taking that into consideration.
Okay. Maybe salmonella is my favorite flavor ice cream.
Who's got the first vote on this one? I think we'll go with Tim. You have the first vote. That way we end
that way
on
Teddy can decide it. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't give a I don't know. I think he's gonna go with chocolate chip cookie dough. Simon will go with cake batter. I don't know where Joey's gonna go. I'm trying to get it to be a tie, baby. So give me cake batter.
One vote for cake batter.
Or did I screw it up?
I don't know. I've never had cake batter ice cream. Chocolate chip cookie dough is my second favorite. It's delicious. It makes everybody happy. Yeah. And that's how I look at these brackets. Like, some of my favorites get knocked out, but as long as something I love is going to win, I don't really get upset. So,
no,
I had 3 horses in this race and they all got knocked out.
I hold it vindictively and I start hating the things that knocked mine out, even if I originally liked those things. That being said, chocolate chip cookie dough, I don't want to have to hate you. So I would really prefer if cake batter won this, and that's where I'm putting my vote. I'm going to go get cake batter ice cream today. Teddy, it is 2-1. Where's your vote going?
So I thought it was going to be a little closer because I was going to do like a whole puppet master thing on getting cake batter in the final and then chocolate chip cookie dough sweeping, and that didn't happen. But I'm still going to go chocolate chip cookie dough, and we're going to the chat.
Letting the chat decide the bracket. It's 2-2.
Okay,
Michael coming in with chocolate chip cookie dough, better win. Jail saying cookie dough, cookie dough.
You sound like a child, Jail.
Calvin said, cake, batter, cake, batter, swing.
That's clever, Jail. That's better. That's way better. That's way better.
I prefer cake gooder.
Stupid. Where were you on that one, Craig? Huh?
Yeah.
Also, Tim said, no, not Tim. Craig said Tim had horses in an ice cream race. That sounds problematic.
We had mooses in one of the ice creams earlier.
Yeah, and it got knocked out by Snickers, which I also voted for. So I screwed my bracket up real bad from the start.
Well, guys, with 10 votes in, by a score of 60% to 40%, the winner of this bracket is happy anniversary, Teddy. Chocolate chip cookie dough. You and your wife's favorite sitting here made it to the end. And the classic OG, the 1 seed, ends up pulling this one out. Chocolate chip cookie dough has been determined to be the best ice cream flavor, and Brandon Cooks has been determined to be the best bounce back wide receiver through the power of brackets, the inarguable science that we have rolling here. Teddy, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on today and help us determine these ever so important questions.
Exactly. It's good to know that love won today. That's good.
Love did win today. And everybody, if you believe in love, go follow Teddy on Twitter. You can find him on Twitter at Teddy Ricketson, and check out the work he does over there with DraftKings Nation, putting out some good stuff. Oof, and giving me acid reflux. He's so sexy. That's going to be it for us today, guys. A huge thanks to Tim for coming on and guest co-hosting with us. And Joey, thanks for being here as well. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much for coming and playing along with us. A reminder, we got 2 more shows today coming up. So if you want to hang out with us some more, we're going to be live on FanDuel at 5 p.m. Eastern time playing some, what are we playing today? Fantasy Jeopardy with our friend Marcus Grant from the NFL. And then after that, on our channel at Front Yard Fantasy, we are going to be playing. We're not playing anything. What are we doing, Tim? You're going to be there.
Trivia.
We're playing pub trivia. So if you guys want to compete, that's why I got confused. I'm not playing anything. But if you guys want to compete in some pub trivia, we have a special Mario pack and then 2 FYF specials, fantasy football trivia that we got going on. So come and hang out with us then as well. That's going to be it for us today. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday evenings, everybody. Hopefully we'll get to hang out with you a little bit more. Go follow Teddy on Twitter and wish him a happy anniversary. Until tomorrow, though, adios, everybody.
Go eat some ice cream.